Good timing, oh yes. Great timing. You lucky devil. This is worth 18 submarines. Come on, Mama, let the good times roll.
Sure, yeah. I've already talked to him earlier today. I'll give him your guys' number. He should call you back. He's usually pretty punctual with new phone numbers.
Neat. What a good personality trait we'll have to remember.
Probably because he's hoping like, ooh, Agent sent me a number. This must be a new chick.
Not quite.
Thanks, Mickey. Anything we want to say to Mickey while he's on the line? Do we want to ask him if anything's changed, or if he has an opinion on anything specific?
Well, I doubt it's only been like a day, so I doubt his opinion has changed much from.
And you guys talked to him like last night, where you were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go meet." Like we talked.
Right.
To this
We were talking about like it was 4 or 5 days, but like Either way, yes. So it's been at least a day or two.
It's been a day, so you got like 5 or 6.
It's only been a day. Feels
got,
like 2 months, but.
Yeah.
This is the longest day in history.
Do you want to ask his opinion on some of your more extreme plans, like kidnapping the girlfriend and such, and see if he has like a hard no kind of objective kind of attitude towards it?
Hey, Mickey, you got any kind of moral objections to how we get your guy to win?
Look, I don't want to know exactly.
That's
don't
true.
Kill him.
Liability. Plausible deniability.
So don't directly attack him, he said.
Yeah.
He needs
He didn't
to
say
fight.
attack him. He said don't kill him.
He needs to fight, and it needs to look like a real fight.
Right. That's why I was thinking like we can't just straight up ask him to dive because people would know. Like
it would probably show up in his brain dance.
So I'm going to say to Mickey, like, hey, in your opinion, is it too high profile to, like, kidnap his girlfriend? Is that, like, a thing that would grab too much attention?
I didn't hear that.
Is that, in your personal opinion, Mickey?
Put that on the phone.
1, I don't know. Wrong number. Prank call. 2, I don't know what you're talking about. 3, I would never think to try some dumb shit like that with a guy who can do what I've seen this guy do to people.
I know it's funny, but do you really believe that, like, people are tracking our calls like they do in the real life? And that, like, the cops are interested in such conversations?
Oh yeah, the cops are very
Is this
interested.
nuts asking, or
like,
is this you asking?
No, out of game. Like, because, like, I know in real life, like, I know people who won't even talk about buying weed on text messages because they're like, the government will know and they'll come arrest me. But, like, they won't. Nobody's going to come arrest you because you texted about selling
The reason you don't text.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is your opinion on, like, the police state in this world? Like, are they interested in such communications on cell phones and such?
1, maybe. 2, you have a netrunner in your crew who can easily tell you that a ton of netrunners will go and filter out and
I think he's asking about real life.
No, he's asking.
Well, no, I'm asking.
No,
about,
he was
like,
asking out of game.
I'm saying out of game. I'm asking out of game about the in-game culture of the police force in this state.
Yeah.
Just so I have a better understanding of the world he's created for us.
So the police do monitor random garbage when they can.
Cool.
Netrunners
That's
specifically also are always out scouring anything they can get their
right.
hands
Yeah.
on.
So any netrunner could be like just kind of listening in randomly.
If they can get into your stuff, they will, because who
Right.
knows? Like, they don't know who's
so like never assume that your communications are safe
unless you have a scrambler.
Unless you have like there's a specific technology in the game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, people with the frequency on the like that have descramblers who know like the code could also be listening.
Okay.
But yeah, any communication is unsecure, and you're aware of it because there are tons of netrunners who just scrape anything.
Okay, so talking about anything too high profile over random or over normal communications devices.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why I say prank call. Oh, who? I don't want to know, and I don't want to know what that guy would do to you if you even got near his wife.
From my
girlfriend.
reaction alone, I can kind of assume that maybe that course of action is not recommended. Perhaps we do just play it cool. And also, if we can get Lemon along, that would be cool
Yeah.
to see what kind of pot that stirs. Again,
We'll
the
see what we
metaphor.
can do with that.
Yeah.
You're right. I do find it funny though that I'm playing a Netrunner and I'm thinking of a plan like a media person would. I'm like that. What the?
Yeah, maybe you got to go for a career change.
Who knows?
Does
or a
Mickey give us the
multi-classing.
number or?
He said he would give Lemon your guys'
Oh, he
number.
gives
Yeah.
Lemon our number.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other way around. So now we're waiting on a call from Lemon.
Which
Yeah.
happens almost immediately.
As he said, your personality was to be
friends.
very prompt about it or whatever. So
Yeah. So basically, like, you guys are even probably still talking on the phone, and then all of a sudden, just another, like, it's like,
Ooh, simultaneously sending a text during a phone call, which I know is something that we can do now, but it's not something I do because, like, the phone can handle it, I can't.
Lemon's not texting. Lemon is calling.
No. Yeah. So you're like, yeah, you all of a sudden you're just like, oh, call, wait, who? This is an unrecognized number.
Unrecognized number. I'm adding it to my contacts. Lemon. 2 E's. I don't know why.
Lehman.
Well, he said it's short for short, Lee, and then I was like, I'm just kind of swapping the joke from earlier. No, because actually, earlier today I saw a trailer for Creed 3, which is like, and there's already like at least 5 Rocky movies, right? So this
6.
is
What's
6
Creed?
Rocky movies.
Yep.
So Creed is the succession to the Rocky franchise, if you know the famous boxing franchise.
I could never make it past the first one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, I haven't seen any of them, but it's just so prolific in culture. So this is Creed 3, which means what you said, Rocky 6.
Yep.
So this is essentially Rocky 9.
Pretty much.
So like I couldn't get into the Rocky
Actually,
films.
this is the first one in the Rocky universe that doesn't have Sylvester Stallone in it.
Right. Oh,
Oh.
he's not literally in the film, but
And
I
I
They
feel
fucked him
good.
over.
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
they
him
fucked
getting,
him over.
I remember
Yep.
him getting pissed.
I didn't know
about
there was drama about
it.
it.
Yeah. 'Cause
Oh.
they also didn't they bring back Drago or
That
somebody
was
else?
Creed 2. So,
Like, isn't he completely cut out of all the Creed stuff?
Fill us in, fellas.
no, they
Yeah,
did
I haven't
all
heard about
6
this.
Rockies.
Yeah.
Creed is Apollo Creed's estranged son,
Mm-hmm.
finds Rocky and is like, help me get into boxing. And that's the first movie, is him getting into boxing. He becomes the champ because Rocky. Creed 2 is fighting the Russians again. Because
Because we're
Drago
always fighting the Russians.
has a son. or
Everybody's
at
son is
least-
a boxing
at
genius.
least,
So yeah.
apprentice or whatever. And those two fight. I forget how that ends. And then Creed 3, I don't know how they justify Rocky being gone, but they like straight up didn't want him involved. And I don't know the legalities, but they fucked him over and he's just not involved.
Yeah, like I remember hearing about him getting pissed off about being cut out of some kind of a Rocky film.
Yeah.
And then being even more pissed off that like the other guys from the other Rocky films weren't cut out. So it was just him.
Huh.
But it's also
That's
because
weird.
he doesn't have any rights to like the Rocky
The character
movies,
or the
like,
franchise
Oh.
or anything.
Yeah.
But I think that since then, because of that, he's like usually been insistent on like having some kind of stake in a franchise that he's involved in.
Yeah. And this one is like Creed is fighting some.
It's a friend of his that got arrested when he was a young boy.
Yep.
And then he was spent most of his life in prison until now, where he's like, hey, buddy, we're old friends. Help me get into boxing since you're a famous boxer. But then he becomes the villain of the film, and he has to box him for the climax. And this villain is played by the man who plays Kang in the new MCU phase.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So
I-
a young man who's very a good actor, like he's been praised in his film recently about African American pilots in the World Wars, and then he also did that Lovecraftian television show before that.
Lovecraft
That
Country.
was-
I only
Lovecraft
saw the
Country.
first episode of that.
It was awful.
The first 3, I believe, episodes was like a mini series. And then after that, it was like a more episodic television show.
Yeah, I say I only
Yeah,
saw the first
so they
episode.
did a main event at the beginning of the series, and I mean, there's mixed opinions on it.
Kat and I watched the whole thing because we were hoping that
I
it'd get
stopped
good.
watching when his father got pegged by that Mexican.
One, not pegged. He
Well, I'm
just
sorry.
got
You're
fucked.
right. You're right. My porn vocabulary was off there. He literally got F'd in the A by a Latino X, because I don't want to assume whatever country.
But you're
he's from.
super happy to be so homophobic and admit that on mic. Oh,
It
I
got
quit 'cause
really
that was
weird
gay
because
stuff.
every episode became like a porno, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened to the Cthulhu stuff?" Because they kind of blew their FX load on the very first scene of the very first episode.
Yeah.
Oh god,
And after
yeah.
that, it became just more like a mystery thriller.
I like that.
And I was like, but I was excited for the Cthulhu monsters and stuff. So,
Well,
because that's like,
'cause
and then famously Peel, or was it Key, or
they
one of
tried
those
to
guys.
mash like a bunch of different themes because Cthulhu can be like East Asian, futuristic with aliens and shit, or old 1920s, the archaeological. They just like took everything together and tried to do so much as possible.
It's
When they should have just picked something and,
Picked a theme.
and focused
Like
on that
it, I was
first.
really hoping there's a book about it, but I guess I was really hoping that the depression of growing up in oppression
Mhm.
would unleash like the elements of horror and
That's what
disparity.
kept the intensity up in the first few episodes.
I
is
really
like,
like.
remember
Yeah.
when they were driving through
Oh,
those sundown counties?
We
of
gotta get
white
the hell.
cars?
They're like-
She
Right, because
ran
if
into
they
the
didn't leave,
hills.
the cop followed them all the way to the county line, and it was like, if you're not out of here with the sun's down, we're fucking lynching you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a great turn on its head, because they mentioned how the author of the original the source material was known to be extremely racist, apparently, and so like for them to have a fully black led cast and to focus on these particular issues is very heavy. It's like kind of like a head on its tails kind
I
of
thought it was just running the wheels. We got to get the hell up out of here.
Yeah, like it started promising and then it just went to shit within like the first 2 episodes.
Well, that's what I said. Like, I think the famous man who was involved in the writing, not Keegan Michael Key, Jordan Peele, like famous for his modern horror films, was a writer and producer on the first several episodes. But then I think he dropped out after that, and then that's like you can kind of see the decline after. Like he wanted to get it going, but he didn't want to be a main actor in its production over a long time.
The big thing it seemed was that they just had a ton of concepts, but
I
they
feel
knew
like-
And
they
not
weren't
enough
getting.
focus.
I
Well,
was
no, they
like,
knew
they
they weren't
could've-
getting. It feels
yeah.
like they knew they weren't getting a second season, so they're like, we got to do
Ah.
all.
Oh, they want to blow
Get
their load
everything
on-
in there.
yeah, the
I
whole
I was like, they
season.
could have done the time stuff, like, going back a little further when they were, fighting in the streets when those issues
People
happened.
in the street. Sorry.
And, like, some time warping issues of conflict and oppression of black people versus police or some shit. And then
my,
I
thank
did
you.
actually like the Korean War arc. I didn't care about that she was a monster. I thought the romance was cute. Anyway, point at the main character, he fell in love before his current love interest with a girl in Korea during the Korean War because he was in the military. So.
I remember because I remember that being a partial bit of the plot line in the first episode, or there was something about like the girl that he had gotten with.
I'm not
I
super-
remember something about that being mentioned,
I just
but
really,
then
I'm not super into romance, but I actually liked that a lot. I think they did his character really well for presenting the main character as a very genuine, caring person because he set up. She missed being able to go to the movies, but since the war, you can't go out and go to the movies. So he set up a private little screening for her so they could watch a movie together. I'm like, that is the cutest shit in the world.
So how'd you guys' phone call go?
Okay, I call. Do you answer?
So appears to
oh
be
no, does he answer? It's your car.
He's got to put on his thinking hat.
He's-
Am I thinking grenades?
Well, of course I answer. Why wouldn't I? Do you guys seriously just ask me?
yeah,
Why?
because you were in the middle of another phone call
Roleplay, bitch. Anyway.
Oh.
and you're driving.
Oh.
You're driving and talking on
Thanks,
the phone. at the same
amigo.
time.
That's Lemon. We'll talk to you later. And I switch over the call.
Yeah.
Like
Lemon.
just a quick goodbye, and like there he is. It's a good explanation. Like he's calling us now. Like you implied he would.
Lemon
So then I switch over the call and talk to Lemon. Hi, Lemon.
All right.
Are you? Did he tell you who we were? Are you aware of us at all? Jesus Christ!
He has told you about hiring these guys for a job.
Yeah,
and
but he
help
just
you
gave me
out.
a number. Did he actually mention what this number was?
Well, he was like, oh, here's the guys I told you about.
Oh, okay.
Was that how much information do you have to go on? And
If he would have gave him a random phone number, he would have called it
Yeah.
anyway.
He doesn't know anything about what you guys are
whatever
up
you
to.
say, boss. Click, click, click.
Yeah. He doesn't know what you
New
guys
friends.
are up to. He knows that you're helping him out apparently, or you're helping Mickey out.
Either
Dude, that
way,
looks like a whole
Lemon's gonna
fucking
answer
movie.
with a velvety hello, and all you hear
Oh,
is running water in the background.
No.
Aside from the silence.
I mean, he's not paying attention.
I know he's not.
I'm sorry.
Lemon answers the phone with a velvety hello, and all you hear in silence is a little bit of water running in the background.
Why is this so funny to you?
Because Lemon is just calling somebody while he's in the bath.
Oh, I mean, I guess I felt like I was near the same conclusion, but I didn't think it was as funny. I didn't guffaw at it.
I just
Are you? Oh, I'm sorry. You get a call.
Yeah, Red Cross keeps calling me at 8 p.m. for
Red
some reason.
Cross.
And they want me to donate blood every day at 8 p.m.
oh yeah, that's why every time they get, I get the similar calls from like a lot of like the blood, obviously the blood banks
I've never
and shit
been
because I'm O positive.
You're O negative.
Oh,
And negative, yeah. Whichever one the universal donor
You
is.
are O negative.
Whichever they love.
The universal, yeah, the one that like everybody can have my blood,
Please.
but I can only have my blood.
I've never been harassed this hard by Red Cross, so I don't know what's up, but I'm not answering.
After a while, I just told them every time they were like, "Hey, it's time. It's been a while, and you haven't donated blood." Yeah, except I got a new tattoo like 2 weeks ago.